Hello, everybody. This is Kirby over yonder. I decided to do something different for this retrospective because since this is a recent video, that means I still have it saved to my phone. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm talking over footage of the original video, and I also slowed it down so it's about double the length. So I have more time to talk. Um, so yeah, I may I may never do it like this again. I just wanted to try it out and see how it is. Um, but yeah, this list this was hard because I get very tired of the stereotypical um edgy adult cartoons. And there are a lot of bad ones. So, I could probably do like 10 other of these lists. But I probably won't do that. Um, but yeah, I it gets so boring to me cuz they're all the same, edgy jokes um over and over again, and it's never interesting, and I don't think they ever really give anything to their audience, um their quote unquote adult audience. Um but it is true what I say at the end, that I think Adventure Time is so much more adult than all of these shows. And it doesn't have any swearing or gore or sets, because it just is mature and respects its audience, unlike these cartoons. And that transition is from Mr. Pickles. Super Drags. What I found interesting about Super Drags is that I wasn't quite sure if it was meant to be progressive, or if it was supposed to make fun of gay people, because it's very stereotypically gay, these three characters here, but like I say, they do make fun of Christianity and conservatives a lot. So I don't know what it's going for, and that confuses me. Um, I actually would be interested in hearing a homosexual person, their opinions on the show, because I think it could go either way, but I think the fact that it could go either way is a bad thing, because at least if you know I mean, I think it would be a bad cartoon either way, but at least if it went one way or the other, there would be a point. But when it's just kind of confused, like I don't really know what I'm supposed to take from it. Am I, supposed to, laugh at gay people, or does it want me to accept gay people? Um, I don't know. And that's the problem with it. And yeah, I get tired of the stereotypical gay jokes. Um, because, like they're, flamboyant and shoving their butts in our faces, and, there's a lot of, genital like imagery. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's, and it's not saying anything. Um, anything interesting. And like I say here, I think Modern Family, um it does the homosexual characters a lot better, because um they're not stereotypically gay, but like they're portrayed as human beings with real human flaws, but they're also still likable. um and I don't really get that from Super Drags. um so yeah. What else? Oh yeah, also the confusing thing about this one is when they're in their super drag forms, like they're when they're superheroes, they have boobs. Um, but like, so like, are they transgender? I don't understand. But like they only have boobs when they're superheroes, and like even when they're not superheroes, they do call each other she. So I think they might be transgender, but like they say that they're gay, but if they're transgender and like they identify as women, then wouldn't they be straight? I don't know. It's confusing and weird, and I don't understand it. But I don't know. It just is what it is, I guess. Um, I went on for a while about this one, didn't I? Number four. Oh yeah, animals. This one I actually have to give credit to my buddy Lime Grouper or Connor, for because I hadn't heard about it before he recommended it, but yeah, it was interesting because I never really heard anyone talk about this one, and I didn't dwell on it for a whole long time because I just thought it was kind of boring and mundane. But I really don't like the art style in this one. It's a lot of gross brown and gray colors. It's not appealing to me. I don't like it. Um, and the characters' mouths don't move, which is weird. It's I'd say it's almost 12-ounce mouse level, but not quite. I think 12-ounce mouse is worse looking, but yeah, that's just how I feel. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say about this one, which is why I didn't talk about it for a long time. But yeah, it was pretty bad. Probably not like the worst thing out there. Um, but not very good either. Um, I didn't think the stories were terrible, but they were just so uninteresting, and I didn't care much about the characters at all. I never really understood the hate for King Star Kane. I mean, I get that it's weird and gross, and but like I thought it was creative. Like my buddy Justin or Lob City 2.0, um, he did a worst adult cartoons list recently, and I think he put it at like number two or three. And I have a lot of respect for Justin, and he's a good friend, and I respect his opinion. But really, number two, number three, I like. Is it really worse than like Mr. Pickles and 12-ounce Mouse and all that? I don't know. I mean, I get why people don't like it, but is it really the worst thing out there? I don't think it is. Um, Brickleberry, it was just so generic, and um, I think I compared it to Family Guy here, basically saying that it is a similar concept to a regular show, but with the animation and writing and humor on the same level as Family Guy. I think I prefer this over Family Guy because I don't get as much of a sort of nasty vibe to it that Family Guy gives me, and um, but I will say that on the level of writing and comedy and animation, I would say it's about the same level as Family Guy. Um, just a lot of crude jokes and a very stereotypical adult cartoon stuff. Um, and yeah, it's not very interesting. Um, hmm. I'm trying to think of something I can say here. Apparently this got a sequel show. Like the creators of the show made another one on Netflix. I haven't watched it, but I hear I hear it's not too different from this one, and I mean, on the one hand, I think that a show can be similar to another show that's by the same person and still be good, but I think it has to be different in some ways. Like Futurama is different from The Simpsons in many ways, even though it still has similar a similar style of comedy and writing. It's still different from The Simpsons in many ways to the point where it can be considered its own thing. Um, but again, I haven't seen Paradise PD, which I think is what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. Alan Gregory, I really didn't like. a lot of people compare him to Stewie Griffin, but I'd say he's more like Brian Griffin to me. He's just so pretentious and just um just obnoxious, and like the way he speaks down to not just other kids but like adults too, and his gross little um sexual fantasies about his teacher. It's not funny. Um and I hate this character so much, and yeah, it's also uncomfortable how one of his dads, in the first episode they have a joke where like they imply that he's actually heterosexual but was forced into a homosexual relationship, and that's just uncomfortable to me. um I and like they play it up for jokes, but like that's not funny, you know. I don't know. His other dad is really obnoxious too. I don't think I talked about him very much, but he's also really obnoxious and terrible. Um, yeah, I don't know if I hate this one more than Family Guy or not. I'd say it's about the same level as Family Guy. I don't know. I don't know. Alright, we're getting close to. Yep, we're at number one now. This image here is from OKKO. It's the episode Plaza Alone. That episode is pretty weird. It has some really crazy imagery in it, but I kind of like it. Um, yeah, I put two disclaimers in this one because I, for the longest time, I avoided talking about the Adult Party cartoon because, um, it has a lot of just disgusting imagery, and I wouldn't want anyone to see that. So that's why I was very careful here to put two disclaimers, one at the beginning and one before number one, because there's just so much unpleasant imagery in this one, and I do consider it the worst cartoon I've ever seen. I mean, when I watched Ren Seeks Help, this was a long disclaimer. When I watched Ren Seeks Help, like all I could do was stare at myself in the mirror for like 5 to 10 minutes because I didn't know what to do with myself. Um, and this was a cartoon that was made out of pure spite and just nothing but pure hatred, and that's what I just cannot stand about this cartoon. At least something like Super Drags is made out of just kind of wanting to create something to be enjoyed, but this was made out of pure hatred. And this is one of my least favorite scenes where they're basically, having sex but with a chainsaw and a log, and it's not funny. It's just edgy. I'm sorry, I'm kind of dying here. They actually got a new voice for Stimpy in this one because Billy West, understandably, didn't want to voice Stimpy in the Ren and Stimpy Adult Party cartoon because it was so disgusting. Um, and I also think he was doing Futurama at the time, and if I were to choose between the Adult Party cartoon and Futurama, then I think maybe I'd go with Futurama too. Just maybe. I actually don't think that the new voice for Stimpy did a terrible job. I mean, the dialogue he was given was complete garbage, but I think he did a decent job sounding like Stimpy. Um, yeah. Um, and something like I think Ren Seeks Help is in many ways very similar to Time Zero from BoJack Horseman in that it shows the basically the life and the childhood of a terrible person. Um, yeah. Um, and but the difference is that Ren Seeks Help tries to be funny, but it's not funny. It's horrible. Seeing Ren torture these animals, um, where Time Zero, it's not trying to be funny. Ugh. um, it's showing, you know, the realistic, I guess not completely realistic, kind of extreme, um, depiction of a child who was just born in a terrible environment, and how that person became the abusive, terrible person they are today. Um, and Ren Seeks Help is kind of like that, but it tries to be funny, and it comes off as very distasteful, where Time Zero doesn't, because, um, you're expected to laugh at these jokes, um, when, I don't think it's funny at all. I don't think any second of it is funny in the slightest. It's just nasty. Um, and that's why I give so much credit to the writers behind, stuff like Gumball and Gravity Falls and Wander Over Yonder and all that stuff, because they they aren't, while this is pure spite, stuff like Gumball, uh, SpongeBob, Adventure Time, Futurama, BoJack, that's stuff that is, giving to its audience, and um is trying to, bring joy and goodness into the world without with, and still um showing that there are negatives, but still bringing a little bit of hope and joy into this world. And there's me in slow motion. um Yeah, I decided to do a live action ending for this one. I don't usually do that with top 5 lists, but after footage of Renseek's, or not just Renseek's Help, but Adult Party Cartoon, I felt the need to show show myself, just reminder that we are human beings and not monsters. And, so here's a bit of Adventure Time footage, because I like Adventure Time. And because I do think that Adventure Time is an example of an actual adult cartoon. This isn't garbage. This is something that is um, some, giving, respect to its audience and treating them like adults. And that's why I give so much, credit to Adventure Time. Um, Whereas something like Family Guy is just edgy, nihilistic nonsense that I have no respect for. Um, yeah, I think we're approaching the end of this. Yeah, tell me if you like this new style. I might not do it again, but I don't know, maybe I will. And yeah, there's me waving in slow motion. Alright, I'll see you guys next time, and have a good one. Kirby out.